I'd rather be wrong and happy than right and miserable. What does that mean? Or rather, I want to know more, is what one of you said in the comments yesterday to my short presenting that. So, what does that mean? I guess to me, it's a little more obvious than to others, but basically, it means that you're you being wrong about a particular assumption results in a positive feeling. Your joy, your happiness, your peace, connection, fulfillment, or all of the above. For example, you think you're going to get fired when you go back to work on Monday, and you're so sure of it, and you're worried, and you're talking to your wife or your girlfriend or your whoever about it all weekend, and then you go to work Monday and you get through the day and nothing happens. Boss doesn't even barely talk to you except to give you a task. You are wrong, and therefore, I don't know, depending on the person, maybe you're just relieved, but you're not right and miserable, right? Or right and more miserable than you already were as a result of being wrong about something. Another example, you think you're going to get cancer, you think you feel a growth. Let's say you're a woman, you think you feel a growth in your breast, and you go and you're really worried about it. Again, you're expecting the worst. And in this case, if you are right, you're probably not going to be happy. So you go to the doctor, you get it checked out, and congratulations, no cancer, nothing there, just in your mind. So once again, wrong and happy, or wrong and happier than right and unhappy, or right and miserable. What would be another example? I don't know. You you're in high school, and there's a girl, you're a guy, and there's a girl you've been wanting to ask out, and you think she's out of your league, and you have no chance, and you talk here and there, and you have cordial interactions, but you're always hesitant to really share your true feelings, or at least go for it and try to get her alone in a friendly setting. So in your mind, there's no way she'll go out with you, or if she did, there's no way she would keep going out with you and become your romantic partner. But your friends finally convince you, or you finally, for whatever reason, somehow get over it. Coach yourself up in the mirror one day and say, I'm either going to ask her out today or forget about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be the happiest guy in school. And if I'm right, I'll just be back to where I was, which was about the same or worse. So then you do ask her out, and lo and behold, she says yes, and then you go, and so you're wrong and happy just on that, and then you go and go to the movies and have dinner, or go to the water park or whatever, and you have a nice time and go from there. And again, you're even more happier and more wrong. So these are just some examples. Or I don't know, I kept thinking that for the last couple years, and depending what state of mind and I was in, and what news I was listening to, or people I was talking to, I was very sure that there would be another kind of lockdown, not like similar to COVID, but different, where it would be for different reasons, and it would be shorter but more intense, with an open military presence and a capturing and sort of shut down, you could say, of or limiting, severe limiting of most communications to most people, if not on the planet, then like in stages in different regions of the world or countries. And I was so sure this was going to happen and everything would be shut down again except for, emergency services. And in this one, I thought, because I thought this is what was needed to help forcefully wake up everyone to the corruption going on in the world, about the banking system and rigged elections all over the planet, and the truth behind COVID, which I feel like most people have at least a basic understanding that we were just lied to and it wasn't really what it was. Even if people got it, it's still the cause, and the where and the why and the how is not at all, or almost not at all, what we were told. And then about child trafficking and rampant child trafficking, not just by powerful people in Hollywood and business and the government, but just low-level people being enabled, at scale to do this through corrupt, law enforcement and legal system, especially in the West, but all over the world. And just bringing out things like this, and and then fuller disclosure on our ET origins. I thought this was I thought this was going to happen a couple of different times over, I don't know, the last like 5 years at this point, but now I realize, but I also knew that if this did happen, I would be right about expecting it, or being about it happening at all in some form, but I would be not happy like while it was going on, for sure. Like, I might know kind of why it was happening, just like I very quickly saw through COVID, and and the lockdowns then, and I didn't buy into other people's fear about it. I had my own fears just that already existed, but they didn't get exacerbated, you could say, by or my beliefs about, like, germs and personal health and safety, and just my not, and then about how the government really works and how the media really works, what they're really about. Well, those changed, but to my empowerment and not to my added fear. And just, I thought that this lockdown thing would happen, or I thought that, but it hasn't, and it doesn't look like it will. I mean, maybe, and if it did, I think it would be on another note, because of, like, some market crashes and like a hyperinflationary event, and in many places across the world, not everywhere, but certainly like America, Western Europe, maybe Canada, Australia in particular, maybe a few other places. This just did not happen. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen now, and I'm actually glad for that, because I know if that did happen, most people wouldn't know why it was happening, even if it was being told to them to their face, and and I would just be surrounded by more fear than I could be on a typical day where I live. I hope that clarifies what I mean by I'd rather be wrong and happy than right and miserable, or more unhappy than I already was before. And yes, if you got anything out of this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and you can make a donation if you got value out of this. You could make a donation to my PayPal. It's in the description of my homepage. for the channel. And yes, onward and upward, my fellow awakening ones.